So I have a book from the other end of the spectrum now. It's a little bit silly. It's also, though, kind of a ghost story, but a little bit on the silly side.
Might need it after you read this book.
Yeah, there you go. So we set it up like that. So the first, the book that I have brought with me to talk about is Several People Are Typing by Calvin Kasulke. It's a debut novel by the author, but he's written numerous articles for the New Yorker, the Atlantic, all those major publications. He mostly cultural criticism. This book was such a surprise. I wasn't sure when I read the review of it, when I was doing the ordering and I picked it up. I wasn't sure how it was going to go because it's kind of gimmicky. The entire novel unfolds through conversations on Slack. So Slack is the work chat platform that no doubt over the last year, and if you didn't know about it before, no doubt over the last year and a half, it's become an essential tool. One, like either Slack or one version of it has become an essential tool for work communication while we all had to WFH, work from home. But if you aren't familiar with Slack, though, you shouldn't be deterred by that premise or that setup because he does a really good job of establishing the parameters of the tool and how he's going to tell this story really early on with some like light Slack jokes, and you kind of get it. So anyway, the book starts with Gerald, who's a dry-humored young employee at a New York public relations firm, and his consciousness has been subsumed into Slack. And so the first chapter is just 1 page long, and it's like help, and then the Slack bot, which is the help feature in Slack, says, "How can I help you? How can I help you?" And of course, it can't help him get out of Slack. So, meanwhile, his body has been left in sort of like a sleeping state in his apartment, and he knows this because his closest office mate, Pradeep, has gone over to his apartment and confirmed for Gerald, who can communicate with his office mates, that his body is still there. And so Pradeep then takes Gerald's body and moves him back to Pradeep's apartment and then starts to take care of him until they can figure out how to get Gerald out of Slack. Meanwhile, meanwhile, there's all these snowstorms, train delays, children's illnesses that require all of the other employees to, at various times, work from home, WFH. And so all these other employees, Gerald is trying to communicate with them and tell them what's happening to him. Pradeep is the only one who believes him. The rest of them think it's like, at best, it's a joke, or at worst, he's abusing his work from home privileges. So anyway, it's great. And there's enough, because of all of these delays and everyone's working from home, there's enough for them to create, him to create these side mysteries. Including how did Doug the boss's standing desk get broken while he was WFH? And who is this Lydia person who keeps coming into their conversations? And what on earth does the dusty stick emoticon mean? Which is a Slack-only emoticon that I learned about for the first time in this novel. So anyway, it's a gimmick, but it's also a taut exploration of office culture. But it does contain some very human moments too. So it's a good break.
That actually sounds really funny. It reminds me, it's almost like it's like The Office, but for kind of modern work from home times, that we can all relate to, right?
Yeah.